Okay, student. So first, thank you for completing the teaching evaluation. So today is our last lecture this trimester. I like to use this lecture to provide some tips for your test 2, particularly the 3 long answer question in our session B. Right. So this is general information. So session A, multiple choice question, I think this part should be relatively okay for our student. So in today's lecture, I like to focus on session B, the 3 long answer question, right? In the session B, each question will include 2 parts. So part A is a calculation question. Part B is to use the result of part A to explain or discuss the finance concept or finance issue. All right. So this is very important for me because we do the test online. All right. So I hope students you understand the key concept. So using the general answer, for example, have the general answer from the internet for part B will result a low mark. All right. So I hope you understand my point because our test is open book and is held online. So I hope student can provide me a specific answer, and I expect a higher order critical thinking. Right. So another point you have to know is the handwritten answer and the hand-drawn graph. For me, they are important. So please handwrite your calculation process. Later, I will give you an example. Right? I will let you know my expectation. The final point is please do the test by yourself. Right? This is very important because it's not easy for me to do the invigilation. I don't have invigilator. The test is online. So, but the purpose of the test is to reflect what you have learned. Right. So I think if should not be a big problem. All right. So please do the test by yourself. If I find any problem, I might ask you to do the test on campus again. All right. I will give you another test. Please understand. Okay. So I like to now let me do the review lecture. So test 2 will cover 5 chapters. Right. Before that, I hope you understand the 3 key areas in finance: corporate finance, investment, financial market, and the financial institution. You can see in our FINAN101, we introduce the 3 key areas in finance to our students. Right? For example, investment, bond valuation, share valuation, they are about investment. Project valuation, cost of capital, they are about corporate finance. In the financial market, using the financial market data, we can calculate risk and return. All right, so please know they are the 3 key areas in finance. So now let's do chapter 7, risk and return. So in this chapter, for me, the most important issue is portfolio. So we know we have a portfolio, how to measure portfolio return, and we know how to use the standard deviation and the variance to measure portfolio risk. And I know diversification can reduce unsystematic risk. Beta is a measure of systematic risk, right? Because of competition among diversified investors, only systematic risk is rewarded in the asset market. All right. So we always say high risk, high return, low risk, low return. But now you have to know high systematic risk, high return. Right. Payback model. Right. This the payback model provides us a measurement of the stock required rate of return. Right. So these are payback model. So let me give you an example about how to calculate the standard deviation of the portfolio. Right. So portfolio is the key for this in this chapter. So portfolio. So we can use the same formula to calculate the standard deviation of the portfolio. I use 2 steps to calculate the standard deviation of the portfolio. First, compute the portfolio return for each state using the weighted average. Step 2, compute the expected portfolio return, then the variance and the standard deviation using the same formula for the individual asset. So this is our example. Right, so you can see we have a portfolio 50% on A, 50% on B. Right, we have the return for each state, boom state and the bust state. Right, start A and the start B. Then we calculate the return of the portfolio for each state using the weighted average, 50% on A, 50% on B. This is the result. Then for the bust state, again, portfolio return. Next, we calculate expected return of the portfolio. Right. Finally, standard deviation of the portfolio. You can see this is the calculation. So we do the deviation from ER, expected return. Next, square deviation. Next, weighted average using the probability of the state. Finally, square root. Right. So in the example, you can see diversification can reduce the risk, but without reducing portfolio return. For me, this is only free lunch in investing. All right. Next slide, we also show you this example in the class. So we have two portfolio. Portfolio A, portfolio 1, start A and B. Portfolio 2, start A and C. All right. We do the same calculation, and you can find their diversification effect. So A and B, their correlation is negative. So you can see the portfolio standard deviation down to 3%. But A and C, their correlation is positive. The risk reduction effect is not significant. So this is our conclusion. Portfolio diversification is the investment in different asset or sector. So the diversification is not just holding a lot of asset. All right, so for me, this example is very important. So in your test 2, I will have a similar question, but this question could be more difficult. So this one is, I hope students can extend. This is a two-state system. You can extend our question to a three-state. Right? Like the state will be good year, bad year, and then we have normal year, three-state system. All right. You can use the Excel to do the calculation. It's fine for me, but please handwrite the calculation process. Let me understand. You know how to do the calculation. All right. It's okay to use the Excel, but we might use a three-state question, not just two-state. Right. And you can, part B will be a concept question. So I will ask the student to explain the relation between diversification and the correlation using the calculated result. All right. So general answer will not receive a high mark. Please understand. Right. So I hope student you can address. For example, when the correlation is negative, the risk reduction effect is significant. Correlation is positive. On the other hand, risk reduction is not significant. All right. So use the calculation result to answer the concept question. All right. Okay. This is our chapter 7. Next, chapter 8, bond variation. So for me, the bond variation, I remember the bond variation formula is here. So bond value is the present value of all future earning. For bond, we have coupon and the lump sum payment, best value on the maturity late, right? So as the risk of the bond go up, that means the required return go up or discount rate go up, the price of the value go down. And we can use this result to discuss the risk of the bond. The bond has two types of risk, interest rate risk and default risk. Right? So in our bond variation formula, I is the interest rate. Interest rate is not a constant. Right? So change in interest rate will cause change in bond price. So this is our interest rate risk. So interest risk, high or low, this is my way to remember. I will think about this issue. We receive the money late or receive the money early. If we receive the money late, our interest rate risk will be high. All right. For example, long-term bond, receive the money late. Low coupon bond. So if the coupon payment is low, that means the payment heavily rely on the lump sum payment on the maturity date. All right. That is receiving the money late, high interest rate risk. In addition to interest rate risk, the bond has a default risk, right? So I know the company or the bond issuer might go bankrupt. This is the default risk. I hope students you know the bond rating. Right? We have A, B, C, right? Bond rating, and the default risk premium. Premium means additional return. Additional return for default risk. All right. So this is the calculation example. So for me, the most important thing is to adjust your data according to payment frequency, right? So this is our example, semi-annual coupon payment. So I need to adjust my data according to semi-annual payment. In addition, in particular, 5-year bond number of period will be 5 times 2, 10. All right. 14% as a discount rate. Now 14% divided by 2, 7%. 6% coupon rate. This is 1-year rate. So semi-annual rate will be 6% divided by 2. So our coupon payment will be $30. All right. After that, you can use Excel to do the calculation. For me, this should be not a problem. All right. Right. Okay. So this is a bond variation. Multiple question for the bond variation calculation. Now we like to go to chapter 9. Please note I will go through the concept very quickly. It's a review, but I will give you some detailed explanation for some key concepts. For example, the long answer question. Shear variation, chapter 9. So the most important topic of this chapter, so a stock value is a present value of future earning for stock. That is the dividend, future dividend. So compute the key to its value, right? So issuing stock provide the firm with long
Hi, Leon. You are on mute. We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. You can hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry. Thank you for letting me know that. Okay. So there's the timeline. Have the timing of dividend and the amount of dividend. After year 3, a constant dividend growth rate of 6%. All right. Then you can use the Excel to do the calculation. It's fine. All right. But I hope students can show me you understand the detail here. So for example, P3. So after year 3 is a cut-off year. Right. After year 3, we have a constant dividend growth rate. So I can have the DGM model to compute the P3. Here is the result. All right. Then I hope students can tell me the share value today is the present value of D1, D2, D3, and P3. Use the timeline and show me how you move the money. For example, in the timeline, you move all the dividend and the P3 to today. All right. So please understand it could be necessary to handle the timeline. Yeah, any question? Right. In the test 2, I will change the number, all right? But the concept will be the same. The concept, if you understand the concept, I think it should be not a problem, all right? I will change the number, okay. Okay, next, project variation. Right. So we know bond variation, share variation. Next, project variation. So capital budgeting. Capital budgeting techniques, I like to highlight S. So we have several capital budgeting techniques, right? Not just NPV, we have other, right? So capital budgeting techniques basically involve comparing anticipated cash flow to that of the project cost. So NPV is our first first decision method, but our discussion or our focus will be other method. All right. So I hope students, you also know payback, accounting rate of return, and the internal rate of return. They involve some advantage. All right. So I hope you can explain this advantage. All right. So let me give you an example to show you my expectation. So we have the example in the class. All right. So we have two projects, project A and project B, and I show you the cash flow. This example is a 2-year project, right? CF0 negative, CF1, CF2, right? Then calculate the NPV and the IRR. So again, I will hope students can handle the timeline to show the timing and the amount of the cash flow. Then you can use Excel to calculate the NPV and the IRR in the payback. Right? But please show me the formula you use, right? You can show me the NPV formula or the original finance formula. Both of them are fine for me, right? And IRR formula, right? This is our 2-year project example. So you can see NPV and the NPV value is here, IRR value and the payback. Project A is a payback 1 year. Project B, the payback 2 years. After the calculation, you will make the decision. So based on NPV, you can see you choose project B, all right, because higher NPV. But based on IRR, you will choose project A. Payback, you will choose project A again because project A payback period shorter, right? So then I will ask students to explain advantage of IRR and the payback against NPV, right? Using the calculated result, right? So this is my way to answer this question. So IRR versus NPV. So you can see in the IRR calculation, you don't need to estimate the required return. So in the IRR calculation, you just use the cash flow of the project. You don't need to estimate the required return or the cost of capital if IRR is high enough. Right? In the example, our IRR is 41% and the 50% is high enough, right? You don't need to have the cost of capital. You know the two projects, they are good. You just need to choose one, right? So this is the advantage of IRR. Payback versus NPV. So payback, the key advantage is easy, right? And the payback and the IRR will prefer the project with liquidity. So you can see project A, high liquidity. So because payback period of project is year 1. So that means you don't need to estimate the cash flow at year 2, right? So I hope students can use the calculation result to answer the concept, all right? And I will use a more challenging question. For example, here in the class, we use a 2-year project. In the test, I might consider a 3-year project, all right? But the concept will be still the same, all right? Or 4-year project, all right? All right, so we finished the review of chapter 10. Now, chapter 11, cost of capital, right? So the important topic of this chapter. So we know we have 2 ways to compute cost of capital, DGA model or KBM model. The cost of debt, for the cost of debt, we need to use the after-tax cost of debt. Capital structure determines the weights of debt, ordinary share, and the preference share used by the firm. So after we have cost of equity, cost of debt, and we have the weight, the final step is to compute the weight, right? So the weight is important because the weight determines the discount rate to be used for capital budgeting purpose for NPV and IRR. And when I use weight, right, we need to address the issue of risk. So because all projects may not have the identical risk, and we need to adjust the weight accordingly, right? Okay, we go through the review very quickly, but I hope I make my expectation clear. If you have any question, you are welcome to discuss with me after the class, all right? So I want to say thank you again for your engagement so far. Let me give you a thumb up. So if you like my lecture, please also give me a thumb up, all right? So one more thing to do, our attendance recording. So let me show you the QR code. Okay, the QR code is available, ready. Online student, I also share the QR code with you using the screen.